and Ginter podcast. How we doing?
Fantastic.
It's been a really good week.
Feels like it's
so
been
far.
a long week.
It has been a really long week.
Feels
for
like it's
a lot
been a
of
long,
reasons.
long week.
No, it definitely has been, but the betting action definitely has not stopped this week, and we had a pretty good 4-1 week this week on the show from Daniel Amano and Ryan Gabriel.
Oh, we're just jumping right into it.
We'll get into that picks. We'll talk. That'll be
Okay.
the first segment on the show. But make sure you guys follow us at Gamble on Ginter. I am Peter Ginter. This is Daniel Amano, and we are the Gamble on Ginter podcast. We're going to be talking about all the different games going on right now in college football. We got the Gator game going on, a 14-14 game.
Yeah.
After one quarter, that over is looking real nice right now. If you're live betting, you probably get you're probably looking at a 70, 80 point.
Yeah, we took the Gators +3.
So no, I actually took Gators money line for this
Oh, you
game.
took the money line. All right. Well,
I took the
put them
money line at
+3.
+3. There was a lot more value. I also put them back in a parlay. I have them at +7.5, just giving them a touchdown advantage in a much more complex parlay. And we're going to be going over that today. One of the things that we're going to have that me and Daniel are going to be doing is going through our nightly routine on how we come up with our particular parlays that we have. This is inspired a lot by a lot of people in our community. Ryan Gabriel has this strategy. He's hit some 9-teamers, some 7-teamers, and has been 4-1 on the show both weeks. So we decided, because of the winnings.
Yeah, what is
we're
our
gonna bring 'em
combined
back.
record?
So combined, you guys are 15-4-1 over the last 2 weeks. That's incredible.
It's a lot of money right
See,
there.
if you've listened to the Not Me and listened to these two, you've won a lot of money recently. So 15-4-1. We're going to get their picks. Ryan, unfortunately, cannot join us today, but we'll make sure to get that going throughout the day. But so far, what did you think of everything going on today in college football?
I mean, there's been
Michigan sucks.
there's been a lot of action so far.
Michigan sucks.
Yeah, Duke sucks too, man. Coach K.
Duke is really bad,
Coach
too.
K could coach Duke football better than whoever the hell is coaching that.
Oh, that's one of Peyton Manning's. That's one of the guy.
That's the guy that they call the quarterback whisperer.
Yeah,
that
but then
fucking
again,
idiot?
he stands by Gase for sure.
Oh, hand in hand, obviously. The way they were getting the shit kicked out of them, I thought they could cover the what was it that I took? I think it was like a 14.5 point spread.
Yeah, and you just saw Indiana dice up the Michigan secondary. I thought there was the return. There was a 9 a.m. start in Los Angeles, and we were all over that game. That was one of our winners. The under and Arizona State +11. It was a big time win for Arizona State. That game almost backdoored. They thankfully turned it over on downs with 30 seconds left. They just had to kick a field goal to beat us. But like I said, we went 4-1 there. We went 5-1 this week. Make sure you keep joining us for picks and winners. Reach out to us about our premium program. So you guys can get on the winnings with us.
Yep.
So
Everybody just sharing picks. Everybody earning money together.
I think I think what we should do is definitely go into the Nostradamus, who with Ryan Gabriel has been 15-4-1. Now usually the rules are that if it is a tie, it goes to Nostradamus. So if you can't beat Nostradamus, you don't come back on.
I'm the house.
Because of the winnings, you got to bring him back on.
Yeah, I think he's earned. I think he's earned a third shot. He's the first challenger to push me to the limit. Push me to the limit.
You buried your opponent every time, second time out.
Yeah, and you know what? He's
put up
kept it up. I give my respect to Ryan, but I got to get back on my Undertaker shit. He's going down this week. It's over.
So we're going to go through his picks, and I'm going to rattle them off real quick. I think it works better when it's 1-for-1 when I'm doing them. So I'm going to give one pick. You give your pick.
Okay.
And then we'll go on from there. It just
All
works
right.
better when there's just two of us. So the first game that we have for Ryan Gabriel this week is his Colts take on the Ravens. Now, the Colts are at home. They are actually underdogs by a point.
Home
So this is
doggies.
basically a pick 'em.
So they're at +1.
So they're +1 in this game. So it's basically a pick 'em. Ryan is backing Baltimore. Baltimore is, in his mind, probably the better team.
Coming off of a tough loss.
Coming off of a tough loss, definitely the cheapest that you're going to get them.
And their defense was looking nice last week.
We'll definitely give you a stat here. So Indiana is 6-0 at home versus Baltimore all time. So Baltimore has never won in Indianapolis.
I'll say this. If Baltimore loses in Indianapolis tomorrow, they're definitely not going to the Super Bowl.
No,
100% of the way.
I mean, you want to see that Lamar Jackson can step up in that game. I
think
think
he
should
will.
be too
I
good,
think
but
he could break ground
if
there.
Darius Leonard's playing, that's a good matchup.
It is. It's going to be a great. I think potentially you would want to go under with that. Let's go and see what the under is. Do you have any other takes on that in the meantime?
Well, so I haven't looked at the over-under on this game. I'm not going to lie. Let me see. I would say if you could pull it up.
I'm checking right now. Let's see.
Yeah, while you get on that. So it just depends. Look at the injury report before that game. See who's going to be playing.
48 points.
You know you're going to get J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. So you have 48 points.
48
This is a
points.
dome. So it's a dome game. Two good defenses. Yeah, that is a good under. I definitely like that. I like that call there. So that's Ryan's first pick. He is Baltimore -1. Daniel,
So
what you got?
my first game is the Carolina Panthers against the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Kansas City Chiefs are the obvious favorite. They have a 10.5-point spread.
Mm-hmm.
McCaffrey's supposed to come back tomorrow.
McCaffrey is back. They 100% said
they
he
said
is
anticipate
good
him to play.
to go. So Christian McCaffrey for your fantasy lineups is here to save you if you're still in playoff contention, because I know you took him first overall. So
I will say this, right? Aside from the Dolphin games that I always get every week, because you always want to go Dolphins, but you always got to question it because it's the Dolphins, right? Aside from that Dolphin fan struggle when you give me these picks every week, right? I always have one other one that gives me like a struggle, and the other ones I'm usually very confident on. This is the one that definitely tore me because, don't get me wrong, the Chiefs are great. They have probably the best offense in the whole league. Patrick Mahomes is by far the sest quarterback in the league. The guy just slingshots everything down the field, and Tyreek Hill.
He's the best player in football. I don't think that's a question.
I mean, when it's all said
Russell
and done, if he's
Wilson
on
has
this
an
pace, he
argument.
might go down as the greatest football player of all time, pretty much.
He's got to play more years.
Oh, no, I
but
know.
yeah.
I'm saying down the line, if he stays
I
at this
understand.
pace that he's at, like if he's staying at this pace.
Aaron Rodgers in the sense that he's the most talented person that we've seen.
And
come
he's
out
not
of that
even
position.
25 yet, or he just turned
Exactly.
25, something like that. So don't get me wrong, the Chiefs are great, but if there's one thing they've been struggling on, they have been letting up a decent amount of points. Like they even gave up, how many points to the Jets last week?
Not as great against the run. They're actually really good against the pass this season. They have a really underrated secondary.
They've still been giving up a pretty fair amount of points, though.
They may not be good against a Christian McCaffrey. Like
That's what I was going to
how
say.
How healthy is Christian McCaffrey? How many snaps is he going to play for that game? And that's all you can think.
Well, that's what I look at too, though, is the Panthers' offense. If there's anything I think that was surprising this year and something that, could go in as like a look out for them over the next few years, it's this core that the Panthers have on their offense with Teddy Bridgewater, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and McCaffrey. Like that's a pretty set up core right there.
And Mike Davis looked good in
Mike Davis
absence.
as well,
Mike
don't get me wrong, Mike Davis
and,
as well.
And I think Teddy has found like a place. Like you definitely see he's a starting quarterback. Shout out Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
From the 305.
Yeah, but the Panthers have definitely had way more defensive struggles than the Chiefs had. All right, so it's something I would say that this game might actually get the over. Do we have that up here?
Again, I don't have that.
Let's see.
Right
I
in front of me.
have it right up in front of me. I just got to bring up the screen.
Well,
It's at 52.5.
52 and
I might look to take something like that in this game because I think this is going to be a high scoring game, and I'm also going to go with Carolina to cover. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they could keep it within 10.5 points.
I love how confident he is. He's throwing out the over-unders. He's really wanting to bet the whole thing. I do like that. So you're thinking 10.5 points, too much, not even for the Chiefs at home. Chiefs 16-1 in their past couple of games. So money line Chiefs has been very kind to
Yeah, I think they're
whoever
gonna win the
buys it.
game.
No, for sure, and I see that being a close game, and that over looking real nice.
Carolina is decent, and them getting McCaffrey back is huge. McCaffrey is probably the best running back in the game right now, both passing and running wise, pretty much at this point.
So
Like, the guy's nice.
So definitely not one of the more exciting games this week, but it's definitely worth noting about. So Deshaun Watson has been fantastic since Bill O'Brien was cast off to sea. Now, it hasn't resulted in wins, which if you have any stock in as a Dolphin fan, that's very good because you have the Houston Texans first-round pick. But you got to play a Jacksonville team in Jacksonville, which currently the field's being used. I mean, we're watching it. Like, think about that. That's another factor like you don't take into account.
And if
This
you know
field
how
is
the
gonna be messed up.
Jacksonville Jaguar Stadium is, they actually have another piece attached to it, which is occupied by AEW. So it's double used. Like, it was just used last night. It's being used again today, and now it's going to be used again tomorrow probably.
For sure. And again, the backup quarterback in this game, I don't know his name. I don't know who's starting at quarterback. It's not Minshew.
Oh, Minshew's not starting no more?
Minshew's not starting. No, he's out.
Oh, wow.
So it's whoever their backup is, and he's a rookie.
I think his name is Flake Flortles.
Flake Florida. It's not Flake. I think. I'm just looking over here. It looks like Georgia just took one
Yeah,
back
they did.
to the house. Yeah, that's 21-14 Georgia. That's upsetting.
Yeah, but bringing it back to from Jacksonville back to Jacksonville.
So back to Jacksonville. Ryan is I believe he's back in Houston. I had that in front of me. I think he's back in Houston here. He likes the favorites, the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
They're the better team. They should win this game. Freaky things can happen in the South, especially with 1-6 teams. But you just got to think Houston, who's won 5 straight games against Jacksonville, is going to take it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that
So
too.
I like that
Texans
pick.
on that
And
one.
again, fields being used. There's a lot of points being scored in this game over here. Maybe a nice little under afterwards
Yeah.
due to field conditions.
My next game, Denver and Atlanta in Atlanta, where Atlanta's actually favored to win by 4 points. And Denver just got back Drew Lock. They got their victory last week. Drew Lock hit his little dance.
Mm-hmm.
I like Denver to cover.
You like Denver to cover?
I like Denver to cover in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
I think they'll be able to do the job
So-
against Atlanta. I don't think Atlanta's going to do much of a job against them.
So the best odds you're going to get on a Denver Atlanta game is you're going to get it at +4, which is what you got it.
And I think Denver's actually going to win it. I don't even think it's like a matter of them covering. Like, I think they're going to just win the game straight up.
That's definitely one of those money splits where that spread is a little bit misleading. What I think usually happens. Also a good underrated under game based on the way those offenses kind of work.
Yeah.
I mean, Denver can play defense on the perimeter a little
They've
bit.
also been in some low-scoring games recently.
True, and it's definitely just a random matchup. So I like your pick of Denver there. Anything goes at home. Even though I think Atlanta is a little bit better than we think. But
I think so too, but
if
I
it's
don't.
a close
It's definitely
game-
not going to happen this year, where they're going to, pull off these victories that we would anticipate them to actually get. They're not really having a great season overall. Yet Julio Jones always eats.
Okay, so the third game involves our beloved Washington football team.
Your beloved Washington football team.
Our beloved Washington football team, who are favorites at home this week against the Daniel Jones and them boys, the Giants. He's got them at +2.5, and he is taking the Giants. How dare he?
Wow. He
How
thinks
dare
the
he?
Giants are going to beat them?
Giants beat them earlier in the season.
I was going to say, yeah, they did beat them earlier in the season. The Giants haven't been looking like so bad without Saquon really not having any direction as a team overall. They've had some moments. Very, sparing moments, but some moments.
I think both teams are bad.
Yeah.
I think the one thing about the Giants is they have a really solid defense. They got a great corner, James Bradbury, and their middle linebacker, who I always forget his name, Blake Martinez, who always is number 1 through number 5 in tackles in the league. always makes some big plays. I definitely like that pick in that matchup. I mean, not much of a home field advantage, so you might as well take the team that gets you a little bit of points.
Yeah.
Seems like an even matchup.
All right. Well, my third game is Seattle at Buffalo. Buffalo +3. They're the home doggies.
This is definitely the best game in the 1 o'clock slate.
I was gonna say this is definitely overall. I think
it's a top game this week.
I think it's gonna be a great game.
I tend to lean a little bit towards this New Orleans game. But yes,
we're gonna get
Seahawks
there.
Bills.
You already know we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about that game. It's on. The
So
list.
Russell Wilson goes in 9-1 career record against the AFC East.
Yeah,
all time.
I'm gonna take Russ to be 10-1 after this game. I think he's gonna win. Now the question is, do I think he's gonna win by 3 or more points? I do. I think the Bills kind of lost their swagger. They've definitely been like a flattened soda after their 4th or 5th game.
Josh Soda Allen.
I think Josh Allen got to go find his swagger again. They really shook his confidence after those couple of losses.
He just needs to play the Dolphins again. That guy dominates the Dolphins every time he plays them.
Hey,
That'll
we don't know. With the way the Dolphins have been playing, we don't even know if that'll be the case because the Dolphins got some good swagger going, whether it's the offense or the defense or both.
No, that's a good point. It really is, but that's such an interesting game, and Buffalo. It looks like it's going to be beautiful. In that which is very random.
While we get a
Buffalo.
hurricane.
I mean, we kind of deserve one, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a tropical depression. Okay, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's been depressing out here anyway.
It's morbid depression.
They're trying to put 2 depressions together to cancel them out so Florida could just be smiley face happy.
Smiley face happy Florida.
What's Ryan got next?
So Ryan's got.
I need to know what losing pick he's gonna have next.
I mean, he hasn't lost much.
All right. He makes good picks, but
he's beat.
Come on, man.
He's beaten you, and you guys tied. But he also went 4-1.
Yeah, but I'm the house, so
So he's gonna get the Vegas Raiders again, against the Chargers and Justin Herbert, who looks phenomenal but can't get any wins whatsoever.
What's the spread on that?
So it's a pick'em. Now it's in.
What? It's -1 +1.
Yeah. Now it's in Los Angeles. No fans, of course. And also weather doesn't matter because that is a fortress at SoFi Stadium.
Yeah, SoFi Stadium looks beautiful.
I want to see it. I want to go watch it.
I'm so sad because WrestleMania was supposed to be there this year. Well, in the next upcoming year, 2021.
There will be a lot of events at that place in the next couple of years. It's a beautiful place and a beautiful location. Justin Herbert, 303.9 pass yards per game this season. That is a rookie record. And it took a punctured lung for him to get in.
He had someone take.
That's
going to
be the craziest, most 2020 story I've ever heard. Because that guy can't be working there anymore, right? The guy who did that.
No way.
No, he's done.
Tyrod Taylor is probably going to be set up for life because someone like that fucked up and they were part of an NFL.
But still, it's. But I mean, it's still it's so amazing. And apparently this guy had history. That he's done this before,
that he's punctured other people's lungs.
Not to a puncture, but some medical malpractice where you can't get it right on the vein.
No, but this had nothing to do with a vein. It was that he hurt his rib. His rib was bruised.
No, he punctured his lung.
Yeah, and he went in to go give him a painkiller or something,
and he's out for the game.
He's like, hey man, it just feels like I'm deflating of air real quick. It's yeah, so I kind of punctured your lung.
I couldn't imagine what that must be like.
You had to probably
I imagine when your lung gets punctured, you feel it first.
Oh, of course. You probably lose all your breath. You probably can't breathe.
Oh, man. So I gave you the annual Dolphins pick.
Of course.
It's time.
Of course.
It's the weekly Dolphins pick.
So Miami's in Arizona, and Arizona's the favorite by 4.5 points.
Now, this is going to be probably top 5 games this week.
This is an underrated game right here, honestly. I kind of like the matchup of Tua versus Kyler. All right. I know Tua wasn't too ecstatic, or not ecstatic, but he wasn't exciting last week. He didn't do anything spectacular. He had his 1 touchdown pass. He didn't even hit 100 yards. All right. He had the fumble. I think it was a good game for him to get his jitters out a little bit. I think this will be a good game for him to actually start showing, are you going to step up to the plate and be the next starting QB of this franchise, or do you still have, some time to try and figure some things out, and should we go back to Fitzmagic until the end of the year? So If I look at this, I want the Dolphins defense to show up like they did last week, because when you look at,
I think you always want them to show up the way they.
oh, of course, always, but like
By the way, I was at that game, and
yeah, you did go.
definitely one of the more fun Dolphin games I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Definitely, there was a defensive touchdown in the same end zone where we were at, and they do a good job over there. By the way, like you can't take a mask off for anything.
Yeah, and everybody's spread out. I heard that Hard Rock Stadium's
They
doing
did a
it
good
the way
job.
it should be done.
They did a good job. It was definitely a very fun experience, and it was good to see football again. But I like the Cardinals here. I really like the Cardinals.
Can I just take a mulligan?
Like if there was a game, I think that and I'm it's not what I will be betting at all either.
Is Kenyon Drake still out?
Kenyon Drake will not be there, but I don't know if that necessarily helps or hurts them, because Chase Edmonds is a good little backer, and the Dolphins have Jordan Howard starting.
Look, I'm gonna look at it like this. Kyler usually either has good games or he has terrible games. That's what it feels like. Is that he either has a game where lightning.
You can get Kyler to turn the ball over.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And when we made Jared Goff turn the ball over,
but at the same time, he's the fastest player on the field, no matter what.
Yeah, that's one thing that gives him a little bit of a
on
difference.
That defense that is faster than him, and now he's got D-Hop to throw to. Now that's also one of the Dolphins' strengths. Teams don't have someone like Byron Jones who can cover that, and you know what? You're not leaving him one-on-one because he's still DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, he's DeAndre Hopkins.
But that's one of the people you can play man against and not give up the rest of the field. So in that sense, it's a good matchup. But again, no running back for the Dolphins. Breida's out. Gaskin's out. You got Jordan Howard, who is a rock, and a couple guys they called up from the practice squad. Now, we'll see.
But Jordan Howard ain't terrible. He is solid.
It may be a secret under game. It could be a secret under.
It could be a secret under game, and I do not think Arizona will win by 4.5 points. I think it'll be relatively close.
So he's got the Dolphins.
Not even that. I want the Dolphins to win, but I also think the Dolphins are going to keep it close. I think after the performance they had last week, I don't think people should count them out. The only weapon I see on the Arizona offense, aside from Kyler Murray, is DeAndre Hopkins, and Kyler Murray needs DeAndre Hopkins to win this game. Plain and simple.
No, and I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to go off. I don't think it's hard to keep that person in check. What you want to do is just not let guys beat you over the top like Kirk or Isabella. And the Dolphins can give up the big play. I mean, they just came off a very, very big win, and they go in and play a really good Arizona team. And Arizona has won 3 of the last 4 against Miami. It's not a great matchup for Miami. But I think there could be a secret under. It could be a 24-21 game. Not your natural. Kyler Murray could throw a couple picks. But in the end, I think Cardinals are the better team.
I think the Dolphins are going to cover.
I hope the Dolphins win. I mean, you know me. I'm betting them money line no matter what. And that's not a good idea to anyone on the show. Don't do that.
We take our culture very seriously.
We want to make sure.
Speaking of culture, put everything you have on Coastal Carolina to win tonight.
We'll get into them. We'll get
Yes.
into Patrick McCall because I still got to make my ticket. And plus, we got our late night bet. I'm sure Coastal Carolina is going to be in that.
Oh, of course.
In fact, we'll make sure that that's our pick. But the final pick that we have, that awful Monday night game, we got the New England Patriots versus the New York Jets. Ryan's got the Patriots. There's nothing else that needs to be said about that game. He's got the Patriots -10 over the Jets at home.
I think the Jets might win that game.
Speak it into existence. Sam Darnold's now out. Think about that. Joe Flacco.
I think Joe Flacco could take the Patriots.
You think so? You
I
think
think
they're
he could
that
take the
bad? They're
Patriots.
that destroyed.
I think the Patriots are having a more dysfunctional season than the Jets. People look at the Jets and it's like, well, this is kind of expected.
I do like the addition of Isaiah Ford from the Dolphins for them, specifically for what they do. He was a great player on third down for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
He wasn't in all the time, but he's going to get burned over with the Patriots. And you know how receivers that go to the Patriots from the Dolphins go.
Yeah.
They turn into Wes Welker.
I don't know. Some weird things can happen.
There's no Tom Brady there.
I
That's the weird
think
part.
if the Jets are going to win a game, it might be this one.
Speaking of Tommy B, I gave you Probably
Yep.
the best game of the week. This is definitely the
Drew
best game.
Brees and the
Drew
Saints.
Brees, Tom Brady. You get to see this 2 times a year now because he went to the NFC, which is great.
And the Bucks are 4-point favorites. And I will absolutely take that.
You like the Bucks at
This
home.
is AB's first game.
Mind you, this may be in a hurricane.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
So this game will be in a hurricane. Please, please, please watch the under bet. I would suggest live betting the under in that game. Really start pushing that thing down because when you think it's about to get lower, it's going to get real sloppy, real windy. But who's the one player that can play in that sort of environment? Tom Brady. Tom Brady. Drew Brees is always in a dome. Now they do get Michael Thomas back this week.
Yeah, but
So
then
it
again, the
seems
Bucks
like
get
that
AB.
He could punch someone tomorrow. But, yeah, you're
They
right.
brought him back so he could punch AB.
Who's the bigger diva, Antonio Brown or Michael Thomas?
Honestly, Michael Thomas is. I can't fully classify AB as a diva. Is AB a clown? He's definitely a clown. He's not an Ocho Cinco style clown. He's made a clown of himself
Nah.
doing crazy things. But you want to talk
Ocho
about
Cinco's not a clown. He's a great person.
Ocho Cinco? He's a great person. Like he's definitely transitioned into a more positive
I-
area
I-
of his
I
life. But I'm
defi-
talking about when he was an active player.
I wouldn't compare Ocho Cinco did, but he was if he would played in this generation, he would
He'd look
so
like a
beloved.
saint. He'd look like a saint compared to
But
people
he
like
was
Michael
easy to
Thomas
really
and
like.
Antonio Brown.
He first of all, he played for Cincinnati. They had probably the best uniforms in the NFL at the time. That 85, you have Ocho Cinco on the back.
I have that in
legendary.
my closet.
He went out and put on a Hall of Fame jacket after catching a touchdown.
Yep.
He's the greatest human.
And paid
on
for
planet
every
Earth.
single fine he received when he celebrated every single touchdown he caught.
This man, that's fine. He also tips people $250 every time he's
And
there.
I'm a witness to that. My boy, when he worked at Benihana, Ocho Cinco slid. He had 2 checks, give him $100 on each check.
See, I wouldn't, but I don't compare. Ocho Cinco was calculated.
That man
He had a
took me to the
plan.
movies multiple times with like 90 other people in the theater with us.
Nice. So you got Tampa Bay.
I got Tampa Bay.
So you got Tampa
Yeah,
Bay.
Tampa Bay's going to win by more than 4 for sure. I can't see Michael Thomas making much of a difference this week. He hasn't been playing with them in a while. He has a lot of chemistry problems from what it sounds like in the locker room, so I don't know how effective he's going to be coming back. For all we know, they might look to trade him by the end of the season or something, or after the season. Tampa Bay's looking good. They're actually starting to get their chemistry, so yeah, I'm riding with Tampa Bay.
So we're gonna get into we're gonna get into our plays of the week. We're gonna make our parlay for tonight's action in college football. Give us a chance to really talk a little bit about some of these college football games that are going on tonight. But first, I want to make sure that you guys all get ready to tune in because Amano Talk Season 2 is back.
4.
Season 4.
Yeah.
2 times 2.
Amano Talk Season 4.
Why don't you do 2 times 2?
2 times 2.
2 times 2.
Season 4.
Or 2 plus 2.
Or 2 plus 2. Season 4. Quattro. So December 3rd. Wait on it. Announcement's coming this week, Tuesday. At Imano Talk. Follow. Do that.
All right, so we give him his shameless promotion. He does great work on his show. Really, yeah, you get to hear a lot of the best artists. I've heard some of the songs already. I've gotten the sneak peek, the lowdown. These guys are excellent. These guys are, and they're all coming up just from this area for the most part. A lot of fan groups on that show. So
I'll say
definitely check it out.
I'll say one thing is like an exclusive piece of news. We actually do have a few artists that'll be joining us remotely from out of the state, but I'm not going to say as to how that happened, but I will be announcing that all on Tuesday.
Keep us all in suspense.
Yes.
Can we get this city?
No. There's multiple.
Can you say it's around somewhere?
I'll tell you when we get out of here.
Sounds good. Okay, so one of the games I'm looking at first is this Texas A&M South Carolina game, which has dropped. A lot of people have been putting some money on South Carolina at that, and they were getting probably 10.5. When I saw this, it's right now at 9.5. Now, Texas A&M is really good, but South Carolina is a really, really tough place to play. So when you're looking at this game, you're thinking it's going to be close. So I do like South Carolina in this game, but Do we want to move this back? So I've been showing, something, and Ryan's taught me this strategy, that he started doing with alternate spreads. And so I'm going to show Daniel kind of like how that works. So you just click pretty much on the area. It gives you options on how you can bet more, and you could choose whatever odds you want for whatever you want the spread to be. So if you wanted Texas A&M, instead of getting them at the rate that they're at, which is 9.5, you wanted them at 5. It's minus 200. So you can just switch it to give yourself some better odds in a certain scenario. So I would definitely think about, if you're doing that game, buy some back. Get to 13, 14. So let's add that, we're going to go there, and I like South Carolina, and I think they possibly could win that game. So we got South Carolina. Stanford, Oregon, the return of Pac-12 football. Did you forget about Pac-12 football? COVID hasn't forgotten. They've canceled 2 games already due to COVID.
A lot of football's coming back, though. We had Maction this week.
We did have Maction this week. Nevada was big time. I mean, I was raving about this. Nevada quarterback. We got them 17.5 this week.
You said some horrid words, though.
Yeah, well, he was fantastic.
He was. I'm not denying that, but you said some things that I don't know if they could be forgivable.
We'll see. So, Stanford versus Oregon. Oregon's the number 12 team in the nation. They have a great defense, and they're playing Stanford, who's definitely not known for, without Andrew Luck. They're not definitely known for their offense. The over-under on this game is 51. I think we're going to get some defense in this game. I think we can go under, but I'd want to buy that up to about 56, get it to more of a football number. So let's make sure that we buy that. Or, you know what? I honestly wouldn't mind going over at a 46. What do you think there?
I mean, I think the over would go, but it's one of those games where it really could go either or, depending, just the momentum overall.
Clemson, Notre Dame.
That's going to be a great game, and I think Trevor Lawrence is still out, right? He's not.
Trevor Lawrence will not be playing, so the line has moved and shifted in Notre Dame's favor. You can now get Notre Dame at home for +5.
That might be the move.
You think it's going to be a close game? I love it. You can move Notre Dame back to about 9.5, and you won't lose too much on your odds. So, but I do like Notre Dame in this game. This is going to be the game. Like, if they need to win this game more than the ACC championship, honestly, because if they don't